Hello everyone, this is Vartika and I am right back with a new video on dictionary. As we have seen in the previous video that Python provides a certain number of data types like list, tuple, string. So we are going to discuss one new data type, that is your dictionary, in this video. So first of all, we are going to see what a dictionary is and how we can access the content of the dictionary. And after that, we will be moving on with the functions of the dictionary. So starting with what a dictionary is. See, as I have told you that Python provides certain number of data types, out of which dictionary is one of them. Dictionary could be said to be a core data type of Python. Dictionary is basically a container that contains certain number of key value pairs. Just as we have seen in the other data type like list or string or tuple, each value has an associated number with it that is called the index number. In the same way, in dictionary, every value has an associated key. That is why we say that dictionary stores the key value pairs. If we look into the syntax of a dictionary, see, a dictionary is always enclosed in curly braces, right? The content of the dictionary is enclosed in curly braces, and within curly braces, there are various key value pairs separated by comma. The key value pairs are written as key, then colon, and then value. After that, next key, colon, value, and so on. So there could be any number of key value pairs in the dictionary which are separated by comma. So here is an example. Here I have created a dictionary with the name D, which is containing three keys. One is A, another is B, and another is C. Now the A key is having the value 10, B key is having the value 20, and C key is having the value 30. Now just as in string, list or tuple, a value has an associated index. In this way, in dictionary, we have associated key. Every value has an associated key. Unlike list or dictionary, where the index could only be numeric, here the key can either be numeric, it can either be string. Now let us move on to the characteristics of a dictionary. Now when we talk about the various features of dictionary, the first and the foremost feature is that dictionary is an unordered set. Now what is the meaning of an unordered set? That means if you have created a dictionary with certain number of key value pairs, then the order in which you have written the key value pairs while creating the dictionary, then the order of those key value pairs will not be necessarily same when you will display the content of the dictionary or when the dictionary is displayed. Meaning to say that the order of key value pairs that you specified will not always be same. So you cannot predict the order of key value pairs in a dictionary. Therefore, we say that dictionary is an unordered set. Coming up to the next characteristic, a dictionary is not considered as a sequence. Why it is not considered as a sequence? Because in dictionary, the values do not have an associated index number, but values have an associated key. Since the concept of index number is not there, therefore it is not considered to be a sequence. Next is the dictionary, as we have already discussed, it is indexed by key, not by index number, because there is no concept of index numbers in dictionary. The keys that we use in dictionary should always be of immutable type. Immutable type means it can either be a number, it can either be a string or a tuple. And when we make a key that in the form of a tuple, then we have to remember one thing, that the content of that tuple should also be immutable. Then only that tuple could be made the key of a dictionary. And if the key is a string type, then that key will be enclosed in quotation mark. The next characteristic is keys must be unique in a dictionary. Now, why this is so? Because every value is identified by its key. Therefore, the key should not be repeated in a dictionary. And dictionaries, just like list, are considered to be the mutable data type of Python, because we can change the value in the dictionary at that same location in the memory. Now, internally, the dictionary is stored as a mapping. Internally, the key value pairs of the dictionary are associated or related with one another using a function known as hash function. And that is why this sort of linking is known as mapping. Now let us see how we can create a dictionary. There are various ways of creating a dictionary. We can classify them in three major categories. The first one is without using the dict function. Another category is using the dict function. And the third category is using the function from keys. Now starting with how we can create a dictionary without using dict function. So this is a very simple way of creating a dictionary. We have seen this way in the very first slide of this presentation, where we have seen what? We have assigned to a dictionary object certain key value pairs enclosed in curly braces. So let us see. See, here I have created a dictionary named EMP, and what I have done is I have enclosed the key value pairs within curly braces. Name is the key, Hari is the value. Second key value pair is age 40, where age is the key, 40 is its value. Third is Sal, 50,000. Sal is the key, 50,000 is its value. So I have enclosed the various key value pairs within curly braces and assigned it to the dictionary object, a variable. So that variable becomes a dictionary object. Now then I have displayed the value of this EMP. See, it is displayed name Hari, age 40, Sal 50,000. Another way is you can assign, if you want to create a empty dictionary, what you can do is you can simply assign empty curly braces to a variable. When you assign empty curly braces to a variable, it will create an empty dictionary. Now when I display it, see, it is just showing you the empty curly braces. Now this type of empty dictionary is often required in programming. Now moving on to the method when we are going to use the dict function to create a dictionary. First of all, we will try to create an empty dictionary using the dict function. See what I have written. I have written the dictionary object is equal to dict and parenthesis. So now it is going to create an empty dictionary and assign it to the variable E1. So when I display E1, see, it is showing me the empty curly braces. It is just similar to assigning empty curly braces to a variable. Next method is we can create a dictionary using the name value pairs, right? So what we are going to using, if I want to create a dictionary containing certain name value pairs, there are various ways of doing it. The first one is, what you can do is you can use the dict function and provide it certain arguments. Those arguments will be considered as the keys of the dictionary, and the value of those arguments will be considered as the value of those key. Let us understand it with the help of an example. See, I have written the dict function, and within the dict function I have written name is equal to John. Here name is an argument and John is its value. Another argument is age is equal to 50. So age is another argument and 50 is its value. Then we have Sal is equal to 30,000. So Sal is an argument and 30,000 is its value. Now these three arguments are separated by comma and I have passed them to the function dict and assigned it to a variable emp. Now what will happen? All the argument, that is name, age and Sal, these will become the keys of the dictionary, and their values John, 50 and 30,000 will become its value. When I display such a dictionary, you can see name is a key, John is its value. Age is the key, 50 is its value. Sal is the key, 30,000 is its value. One thing you have to see over here, that the keys, even if the keys of the dictionary were a string, I have not enclosed them in quotation mark. See, name, age and Sal, all these are string, but they are not enclosed in quotation mark because here I have written them as an argument. Okay. Moving on to the next method. In this method, what I am going to do is I am going to assign the key value pairs in curly braces and I'll pass it to the dictionary function. Now this is similar to simply passing a dictionary to the dict function. See, within curly braces I have written the key value pairs and then I have passed them to the dict function. So when I display such a dictionary, you can look over here, the dictionary is created exactly as I have passed it. Right? Now coming up to the next method. In the next method, what I have done is I will enclose all the keys together as a sequence and all the values together again as a sequence, and both these tuples, we will pass it to the function zip. Now zip will do what it will match the corresponding values and create a pair, right? And then we will pass it to the dict function. Let us understand it. See, here I have written all the keys name, age, Sal within parenthesis. Then we have written Kapil, 43, 40,000. These are the values of these keys and I have enclosed them also in separate parentheses. I have passed both these parentheses to the zip function. Now what zip function is going to do is, zip function is going to create the pairs. It will take one value from the first parenthesis and match it with the first value of the second parenthesis. So it will create a pair name Kapil. Another pair it is going to create age 43. Another pair it is going to create as Sal 40,000. So it is going to create 3 pairs. Now when 3 pairs are created, now it is going to pass to the dict function and you can see the result. See, name Kapil, age 43, Sal 40,000. Now another method is, in this you can pass to the dict function a nested sequence. In the nested sequence, the inner sequence will contain one pair, the key and its value. Okay, let's see. This is a dict function and to the dict function I have passed a nested list. In this, the inner list contains, each inner list contains a pair. See, the first inner list is name Kapil. So name is the key, Kapil is its value. Age is the key, 43 is its value. Salary is the key, 65,000 is its value. So when I display it, you can see. So first value of that nested sequence, it will take it as a key. Second value it will interpret as a sequence. So these are the various ways of creating the dictionary using the dict function. Now coming up to another method, that is your from keys method. In this method, see, this method is useful when you want to create a dictionary containing certain keys, but all the keys are having the same value. So we can use this function. Its syntax is dictionary object name is equal to dict dot from keys, and within parenthesis we are going to first of all write the sequence which will contain the set of all the keys, and then we are going to pass the value that will be assigned to all the keys of the dictionary. See, if I have written E1 is equal to dict dot from keys, and in that I have passed a sequence containing 3 keys, and then I have written 10. So it will create a dictionary with 3 pairs. The keys will be A, B, C, and each of the key will be having the value 10. You can see over here, right? Now there is another example. Here I have written E2 is equal to dict dot from keys, then 3, 4, 5. I have not passed the second argument, that is I have not given the value. So how will the dictionary be created? It will contain none as the value for each of the key. And you will also notice over here that I have passed the keys in the form of a tuple, right? Next, E3 is equal to dict dot from keys. Here the first set contains 3 keys 10, 11, 12, and second I have also passed a tuple, but this tuple will be taken as one single value, right? So A, B, C, this sequence will be assigned to each of the key. As you can see, 10 is also assigned ABC, 11 is also assigned ABC, and 12 is also assigned ABC, right? Now another example, here I have passed to the from key function only one key, a tuple containing only one key. So this will create a dictionary with only one pair. 2 is the key and none is its value because I have not passed any value to it. Now moving on to another concept. Till now we have seen how we can create a dictionary. Now let us see if I want to use the content of the dictionary, if I want to access the elements of the dictionary, how we can do it. We will access the element of the dictionary in the same way as we access the element of a list or a tuple. That means we are going to write the name of the dictionary and then within a square bracket we will write its key. In case of list and tuple we write the index number. But since dictionary is not having any index number, but instead of index number it is having the key. Therefore dictionary object and within a square bracket we will write the key. So that the value of this particular key that we have passed to it will be displayed. Okay, and if the key is a string, then we have to enclose it in quotation mark. Let us understand it with the help of an example. See, here I have created a dictionary ST. It is containing a key ABC, a key 55 and another key as a tuple 12, 13. So when I have displayed print ST and within a square bracket I have written the key as a tuple, this one. So what answer it is going to show? It is going to display STR because this key is having the value STR. Another example, if I have written print ST then 55. The key 55 has the value A1. So what it will display? It will display A1. Okay. In the same way, if I have written print ST ABC and ABC is having the value 10. So it will display 10 over here. Now if I have written print STX, now X is not existing. So it will show you an error. Okay. Now coming up to how we can traverse a dictionary. Traversing actually means we want to access or use each element of the dictionary starting from the very first element. So when we have to traverse a dictionary, what we are going to do, we are going to use the concept of loop. Right? And we have also used loop when we were dealing with the list or tuple. In the same way, we can apply the loop to the dictionary also. But we have to remember one thing, when we apply a loop to the dictionary, the loop variable will get the keys of the dictionary, not the values. Okay, so if this is your dictionary ST, it is containing 3 keys, and when I have used it in the loop for I in ST, so what will I receive? I will receive the value ABC 55 and this tuple. Okay, so when I have displayed key I, then value, how I have displayed the value ST, and within a square bracket the key that I have received in the loop variable. See the output. The first key that is accessed is 1213, second is ABC, and third is 55. Now why this sequence is coming? Because I have already told you dictionary is an unordered set. It's not necessary that the order in which you have created the dictionary, it is also accessed or stored in the same order. Okay. Now moving on to how we can add elements to a dictionary. If we have to add any element to the dictionary, what we are going to do is we are simply going to assign a value to a particular key. Right? I have written dictionary object within a square bracket key is equal to value. Now this new key will be added to the dictionary. Let's take an example. If this is your dictionary ST, right, and I have written STX is equal to 100. Since X is not existing in the dictionary right now and I have written this statement, so what it will do, it will add this key and assign this value 100 to the key. It will add it to the dictionary. See, as you can see over here, see how X is added to this dictionary. Now moving on to how we can modify or update the element of the dictionary. See, the process or the syntax of adding and updating is same. Just as we add a new key to the dictionary, in the same way we can change the element of any dictionary. How we are going to do? Dictionary object within a square bracket key is equal to new value. Now see, if this key is already existing and you have written such type of a statement, what it will do? It will change its value. Change the value of this existing key. But if the key is not existing and you have put in a value for that, then it will add that key to the dictionary. So the process of adding as well as modifying is same. If the key is existing, its value will be modified. If it is not existing, it will be added. See, let's take an example. Here I have written STABC and ABC key is already existing. Its current value is 10. Now I have written ABC is equal to 300. So now let's see the output. See, the value of ABC is modified to 300. Right? Coming up to how we can remove any element from the dictionary. In order to remove any element from the dictionary, we have a statement del. There are other methods also for removing the element of the dictionary, but that we will discuss when we will deal with the functions of dictionary. Okay, so right now we are going to study the statement del. How we are going to delete the element of a dictionary? We are simply going to write del, then the dictionary object name, and within a square bracket key. The key that we specify to the del statement, that key value pair will be removed from the dictionary. Let us understand. See, this is a dictionary ST and I have written del then ST 55. See, there won't be parenthesis. It is wrongly written. It will be del, then ST, and within a square bracket 55. So when I will display such a dictionary after removing, after using the del statement, when I display the dictionary, see the content of the dictionary are 1213 STR ABC 10. Now the key value pair 55A1 is deleted from the dictionary. Okay. One thing we have to ensure over here, that if the key is not existing while you are writing the del statement, the key that you specified with the del statement, if it is not existing, it will give you an error, right? And if you simply write del and then the dictionary object name without specifying any key, it will remove the entire dictionary. Okay. Now let us talk about, if I want to check whether a particular key is existing in the dictionary or not, then we can use the membership operator. We already have studied about the membership operators in and not in. Now what does in operator do? In operator returns true if a particular key exists in the dictionary, and not in operator returns true if the key does not exist in the dictionary. So let us understand it with the help of example. But one thing we have to check, we have to ensure that membership operator always checks for the keys, not for the values. See, this is a dictionary. It is containing the keys as A, B, C, D, and I have written A in D. So A key is already existing in the dictionary D, therefore it is going to return true. Next example, C not in D. Now C key is existing in the dictionary, therefore it is going to return false. Next I have written 30 in D. Now 30 is not the key that is existing in the dictionary D, therefore it is going to return false. So with this I come to the end of this video, and in the next video I'll be discussing about what are the various functions of the dictionary and how we can use them. But before I end, I would like all of you to subscribe my channel so that you can get to know when I'll be putting up my next video. Thank you.